Hey guys. So yesterday, or should I say over the weekend, basically, HBO Max, now known as Max, courtesy of Warner Brothers Discovery, apparently did what a lot of people felt that they were probably going to do, but not in such a swift manner. Now, over the past, several months, if not the past year, they've been slowly taking off a lot of animation, taking off a lot of shows that were very popular on Cartoon Network, like Infinity Train and so on. And probably the most notable thing they've been doing is they've been taking off a lot of Looney Tunes, and not just the new Looney Tunes stuff, but classic Looney Tunes. And a lot of people weren't too thrilled about that. They're thinking, what are you doing? This is your bread and butter. Well, yesterday they decided to clean a little house and remove about over 40 Looney Tune classic shorts. Now, the silver lining is that they still have Looney Tunes on there. But what they have is the Looney Tunes show, the new Looney Tunes, the Looney Tunes, the newer ones that were known as Rabbit, and Baby Looney Tunes. Yeah, they have basically Looney Tunes, that's what they're called, the newer ones, the new Looney Tunes, which again was Rabbit, and basically they have Baby Looney Tunes. It's early. I do apologize. It's about 7:54 right now. I do apologize if I'm a little tired. But in the morning that is. But like I said, basically they have Looney Tunes, formerly Rabbit, new Looney Tunes, basically the style of animation you saw with the day the Earth blew up, and Baby Looney Tunes. Those are the ones they have, along with the Looney Tune movies. Like, I think Back in Action's still up there. Those Space Jam movies are still up there, I think. So you still have Looney Tunes, you just don't have the classic ones. But why would they do this? Why would they remove, the bread and butter, if you will, from the service? The characters that put them on the map, put the studio on the map. Well, I think it has to do with one thing. One, David Zasloff is one of those individuals that probably understands the history, the history and importance of Looney Tunes, but basically feels like, hey, if you're going to watch Looney Tunes, you're going to pay for them. Now you might say, well, we're paying for them anyway. What are you talking about? No, I mean basically he looks at Looney Tunes like if you're going to, watch Looney Tunes, you're going to pay for them, more than just what you're paying monthly, which is monthly or yearly, which is streaming service. In other words, if you're going to want to own the classics, you're going to have to physically go out and buy the classics, if you know what I mean. Because Warner Brothers, believe it or not, is still one of those studios that still believes in physical media. They still support physical media by selling the movies, releasing and selling the movies and shows on Blu-ray, if not 4K, if not occasionally on DVD, if that's still a viable option. But basically, that's the situation here. That's the situation. That, basically, I believe, in my opinion, he's of that mindset. That if you're going to watch Looney Tunes, you're going to collect Looney Tunes, have them, with you 24/7, especially the classic stuff, you got to put out the money, to have it, on you all the time or with you all the time, thus through physical media, which is why you're seeing all this news coming out about some, new Looney Tunes, classic Looney Tunes Blu-rays, based on anniversaries and all that, or just, collaborations or continuations of, volumes and series that have, not gotten a continuation up until now. You're now starting to see that. You're starting to see that all take place, and I think this is the main reason. I think this is the main reason why, because because of the fact that he'd rather have you pay more money, to get a physical copy than just sit at home and watch it on Max whenever you want. I know that may have not sounded, sensible or anything, but again, I do apologize. It is early. It is early. But I think that's kind of part of it. That, the fact that they're starting to slowly integrate the Looney Tunes, the classic Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies, onto DVD, onto, not DVD, but on the Blu-ray and 4K and all that, so what sense does it make for people to have it on them, especially if they're going to go out and buy the physical media, and along with that physical media, probably get a digital code that's going to allow them to essentially just go to Fandango, go to Prime Video, and so on, movies anywhere basically, and put the code in and have the Looney Tunes right then and there when they want them. You know what I'm saying? So that's one possibility, in my opinion. They want to basically have you go out and buy the physical means, or the physical versions of the Looney Tunes, physical media versions of Looney Tunes, so you can have them at any time you want, and probably even just put them on your Movies Anywhere account and go from there and have them, anytime you want, period. Through the likes of Fandango, Movies Anywhere, Prime, you name it. Now, with that said, there could be another reason. The other reason is, as of late, you've been noticing that the Warner Brothers Classics YouTube channel has been uploading, weekly, if not bi-weekly. They've been uploading a lot of classic Looney Tunes, from Bugs Bunny to Daffy Duck to Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner to, Porky Pig, and so on. And we're not just talking the stuff from like the 40s, the 50s, maybe even the 60s. We're talking stuff all the way back to the 30s. We're talking the black and white shorts. Like, there's this old short, basically, that had classic Porky and Petunia up against this guy that was a professor, Dr. Jekyll Hyde kind of thing. So they have that one up there. And I think that's another reason, too. I think the other reason is because of the fact that, hey, why do we have to have the Looney Tunes classic and old on our service if A, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be re-releasing them onto Blu-ray or releasing them on Blu-ray for the first time, because there are some DVDs, not DVDs, I'm so used to saying DVDs, I think we all are, but there are some, some classic Looney Tune and Merry Melody shorts that have never seen the light of day on Blu-ray or 4K, and now they're going to get that opportunity. So again, I think it's that, but also B, it's the fact that recently through the Warner Brothers Classics channel, they've been releasing all of these classic animated shorts for the Looney Tunes from the 50s, 60s, somewhat 60s, 40s, 40s, and even 30s, maybe even 20s, but mostly the 40s and 30s, from black and white to color. So basically, I think that could be another reason. I think that could be one possible reason as well. So that's two: the physical media releases that they got planned, and the fact that they're also putting them on the YouTube, Warner Brothers Classics channel weekly, if not bi-weekly, if not every other few days, for people to check out. That might be a second reason. A third reason is because there's Friendly TV, and they got to deal with Friendly TV. And Friendly TV, not Friendly TV, but with MeTV Toons. I have MeTV Toons through Friendly TV. Easy for me to say. That's like the first choice you would find, right? But anyway, I think it's also, thirdly, the deal they have with MeTV Toons. That deal basically being that you got the Bugs Bunny and Friends hour or half hour, whatever it is now, 2 hours. And you also have the Cartoon All-Stars. So you have all of those amenities, with Looney Tunes in there. What's the point, basically in Warner Brothers' eyes, of having the Looney Tunes, the classic Looney Tunes on Max, if you have access to MeTV Toons and these blocks that they have for like Bugs Bunny and Friends, Cartoon All-Stars, and so on. Heck, when MeTV Toons began, one of the first original specials that they did, or at least we tend to believe it was original, was Hair to Bugs. A celebration of his birthday and all that. And then you got June Bugs coming up. I think that's getting brought back for MeTV Toons. I could be wrong, or something like that, or something to that extent, or similar. So, they're looking at those options, in my opinion, those alternative options, and they're like, okay, why do we need the Looney Tunes on Max? It doesn't make sense. So, in my opinion, I think the reason is, and it's a business reason. We also got to look at it from that perspective. Because again, I know it's hard to believe, but I think Zaslav does value the Looney Tunes, as being a very important part of Warner Brothers history, but he doesn't value it as much as what they want to focus on to get the viewership numbers back, to get the subscriber numbers back, because that's the main priority when it comes to these streaming services. Basically focus on what they feel, is going to essentially draw in the eyes. And if adult programming, adult animation programming, adult live action programming is going to do it, so be it. If the newer versions, the newer iterations of Looney Tunes, like the new Looney Tunes, like the Looney Tunes shorts now, they're in the style of The Day the Earth Blew Up, and so on. The Looney Tunes show. If they feel that's going to, basically benefit from being on Max more so than the classics, then so be it. It doesn't mean they're not going to let people see the classics anymore. The classics are still going to be around. They're just going to have alternate means to watch them. They're going to have alternate ways to watch them. Those ways being either buying the physical media that's coming or that's already out there, or basically, subscribing and getting notifications to Warner Brothers Classics YouTube channel when one would show up, and everything, as well as also going to MeTV Toons through your local syndication or cable provider, syndicated network over the air that is, or cable provider or streaming platform like Philo, and Friendly TV, to try to find MeTV Toons and watch them there, if not DVR them. So yeah, they're basically looking at, from my opinion, they're looking at it from that perspective of, they still value them, but they just don't value them as much as, let's say, the more, I guess you could say, modernized version of the Looney Tunes, from Rabbit, Looney Tunes show to the Looney Tunes shorts, that basically the same style of animation and, I guess you could say, continuity and all that as as what you saw with The Day the Earth Blew Up. So that's just my opinion. I mean, I know it may have sounded a little confusing, the way I mentioned it. Again, like I said, it's early when I'm doing this, so I understand if it feels like a little confusing. But I think if you look at it from the business standpoint, it probably makes a lot of sense. Now, do I think the backlash that it's getting could get to them to where they'll basically have to put them back on Max? Yeah, it probably will. I mean, we've seen it happen before, to where I think they've taken something off before and then they put it back due to backlash. So I'm pretty sure if the backlash gets big enough and everything, they'll probably put the Looney Tunes back and everything. It's just a matter of time and, when and where. But right now, I think the main focus is to try to prioritize, what is the more viewed and everything, what is the more viewed, programming, movies and shows and all that, animation, live action and everything, that's going to get people back, as viewers and subscribers to the channel. That's just the main priority. And also, you got to realize it's tax season too. So, in a way, by removing the Looney Tunes, the classic Looney Tunes, off the Max service, they're kind of doing a bit of a tax write-off. Now, it's not the kind of tax write-off where they'll basically vault, and close the door on something like, let's say, Coyote versus Acme, which, a lot of us hope does get to see the light of day. But basically, it's a temporary vaultness. In other words, they're putting it into a situation to where it's not totally closed away or sealed away or anything. No, it's basically at a point. It's basically at a point to where they can bring it back out at any time they want. They're probably just waiting till tax season's over to fully integrate it back into the system. That could be another reason too. So, basically, in my opinion, there are three main basically visual reasons, or alternate reasons, basically, why they did this. One, because they have a lot of Looney Tunes, Merry Melody classics on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K already. They're going to be releasing and plan to release some new content onto Blu-ray, 4K, and so on. Along with stuff that's never seen the light of day yet, on Blu-ray or 4K. They're also releasing weekly, if not daily, if not bi-daily, if not bi-weekly. They're releasing and uploading the classic shorts onto the Warner Brothers Classics channel. So those are three main reasons, in my opinion. But the fourth reason could be it's also tax season, and they want to try to do a temporary tax write-off, not to the extent that they did with Coyote vs. Acme or Batgirl, but basically just give them plenty of room to kind of say, here, we balanced it for you guys going into tax season. Here's our, tax returns and all that, So anyway, that's just my opinion. Again, I know I may have made it sound a little more confusing than it should have, but that's just my opinion. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comment down below, like the video, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, share the video if you would like. Also, guys, you can find me at all your favorite podcast outlets. If there is a, that you view, you can find me at all your favorite video and audio podcast affiliates like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Audible from Amazon, Radio Public, Overcast. Anywhere there's a podcast, you will find mine there as well. You can also find me at VENMO at BW Roses, Rumble.com at BW Roses, where I've added 2 new videos. Those 2 new videos, basically, I will not put onto YouTube due to the fact that it's, I don't want to risk copyright, and the algorithm, and everything might get a little confused whether or not it's okay or it's not. I don't want to risk it. So you can find those 2 new ones at Rumble.com. You can also find me at Odyssey.com at bwroses.5 or -5, if you will. You can also find me at DeviantArt.com at BVW1979, where I've uploaded one of the videos I mentioned there, so you can check it out there. Also find me at InkBunny.net at BW Roses. You can also support me over at Cash App and Venmo. It helps me very appreciative then. I do apologize for the vibration, guys. I am recording this on my phone, so that was a notification there. I do apologize for that. But like I say, you can find me at Cash App at BW Roses and at Venmo at BW Roses, if you will. Or at least you can help support me there in those areas. You can also find me at Patreon.com at BW Roses, where I've uploaded a video in the $3 and $5 tier, talking about adult film star Kara Reed and the impact she had, what she starred in and what she could be willing to star in if she was still going today. And also, you can find me at twitch.tv and kick.com. I have accounts there. I got to get those active again. Also, guys, you can find me at Twitter, aka x.com at BW Roses. You can also find me at Blue Sky at BW Roses and at TikTok at BW Roses. Also check out the Teespring store, link in the description, to get merchandise you can't get anywhere else. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are on what I had to say. Do you agree with any of the possibilities that, could be the reason, that from the physical media releases to the YouTube deal and, MeTV Toons, as well as possibly just a temporary tax write-off, for the Mac service? Let me know what your thoughts are, and until then, I am out.